Welcome back to another video. The new Riven Tides update is finally here, and while most people are focused on the obvious stuff like the new map, the arcturbine, and the new gadgets, there are actually a ton of smaller changes, stealth buffs, and hidden patch note details that have a huge impact on gameplay. Some of these changes are honestly bigger than the headline features, and if you skip through the wall of patch notes, there's a good chance you missed them. So in this video, we're going over the top 10 most important things you may have missed in the Riven Tides patch notes, and trust me, some of these are going to completely change how people play, so let's get into it. So number one, we have weapon upgrades now repair your guns. This is probably one of the biggest quality of life changes in this patch, and it kind of flew under the radar. Whenever you upgrade a weapon, it now restores 25% of that weapon's max durability. That means upgrading your damaged guns isn't just about increasing rarity anymore, it's also a way to repair them at the same time. Before this patch, repairing and upgrading separately made the whole system feel really expensive, especially for higher tier weapons, but now if you have a lower durability gun, upgrading it gives you extra value. This change makes weapon progression way more forgiving and gives players another way to keep valuable gear alive. Number two, low tier weapons got hit hard. If you use common or uncommon weapons a lot, this patch is a pretty big nerf. Durability loss per shot was increased by, for common weapons, plus 75 durability loss on shot, plus 50 durability loss on shot for uncommon, and 35 durability loss for rare weapons. Meanwhile, epic and legendary weapons actually got buffs, losing less durability per shot than before. So the higher your weapon rarity is, the more efficient it is to use now. And this is a major economy shift because lower tier guns are now far more disposable while top tier guns are becoming more sustainable, and that means budget loadouts just got weaker over time, and bringing in premium gear is actually more rewarding than before. Number three, PvP deaths are less punishing now. If you're someone who likes PvP, this is a huge buff. Before the update, getting knocked out caused your weapons to lose 30% durability. Now it's only a loss of 15%, which is a 50% reduction, which means that weapons from knocked players won't be at zero durability or close to it as much. And this might encourage a lot more player fights this season, so watch out. Number four, loot is worse on the edges of the map now. This is a subtle change, but it's going to change the pacing of raids for sure. Weapon spawning around the outskirts of maps now have lower average durability, wider durability ranges, and less overall weapon spawns. So average spawn durability was reduced from 50 down to 30, which is massive. And that means edge looting is less rewarding now, and the best weapons are even more concentrated in the center of the map where most of the high tier zones and locked rooms are, and this increases the risk versus reward dynamic, forcing players to push better areas if they want more worthwhile gear. Basically, playing it safe just got nerfed. For number five, the Bettina got a serious buff, so the Bettina may actually be worth using now. It got base damage increased from 14 to 16, base fire rate reduced from 285 to 235, per shot dispersion reduced by around 40%, making it bloom slower, dispersion recovery time improved by around 30%, and damage against arc armor increased by around 33%. Basically, higher base damage, better armor damage, and better accuracy over longer bursts. In a nutshell, its fire rate was reduced, but almost every other stat was buffed, and the big one is the 33% increase to arc armor damage, which means it's much stronger against robotic enemies now. Plus, the heavy ammo stacks got increased from 40 to 60, making it less punishing to bring, and this feels like the devs are pushing the Bettina into a more reliable, heavy-hitting role, and it may end up being one of the stronger anti-arc options after this patch. For number six, the Photoelectric Cloak was massively nerfed. If you rely on the Photoelectric Cloak, this is bad news, especially for when you're planning on farming the arc assessors. Its power drain went from 2.5 per second to 10 per second, and its weight tripled from 1 to 3. That means you can't stay cloaked nearly as long, and carrying it is now a bigger burden. The devs said it was, quote, aggressively overperforming, end quote, especially in contested arc zones, and this nerf is meant to force players to use it more strategically. So invisibility builds just took a major hit. Number 7, trigger nade spam is basically gone. The T-nades got a heavy nerf. for the 100th time. There's now a 1 second delay after throwing and a 1.3 second delay after triggering, and you can no longer throw a new nade while triggering another. This completely kills the fast chain detonation playstyle players were abusing, and if you were relying on rapid T-nade spams in PvP, that strategy is basically dead now. This should make fights a lot less explosive and reduce instant burst damage setups. For number 8, beginner maps just got easier, so the devs quietly reduced the presence of comets and fireflies on beginner-oriented maps. So they removed comets from Dam Battlegrounds standard sessions, heavily reduced fireflies on Dam as well, and reduced comets in Buried City. This is a really important change for newer players because these enemies were making starter raids much harder than intended. So if those maps felt brutal before, they should be noticeably easier now, and that means better onboarding for new players, but also slightly easier farming for the veterans. Number 9, Vaporizers are now on more maps. This one is easy to miss, but pretty important. The patch mentions that vaporizers were added to more maps and conditions. That means you're going to be encountering them in more raids and not just on the Arc Scrutiny map condition, which changes how often you'll need to deal with their pressure and patrol routes. This adds more unpredictability to runs, and depending on the map, it could increase raid difficulty in areas players were used to farming safely. It's one line in the patch notes, but I think this is going to have a significant impact. And finally, the devs are planning an augment rebalance. This is probably the most important detail in the whole patch. The devs specifically said they're aware that many augments are underperforming, especially MK3 flanking, and that they're working on a full balancing pass. That means the current augment meta may not last much longer, and this isn't an immediate gameplay change, but it tells us what's coming next. Major augment buffs and balance adjustments, and since augment buffs define builds, this could completely shake up the meta in the next patch, which honestly I'm looking forward to. So if your favorite augment feels weak right now, there's a good chance buffs are coming very soon. So yeah, while Riven Tides brought the flashy new content everyone expected or didn't expect, some of the biggest gameplay impacts are hidden in these smaller changes. The weapon economy has shifted, PvP got more rewarding, stealth builds got nerfed, and the devs are already hinting at another meta shakeup on the horizon. Honestly, this patch changes way more than just the new map and the new arc, but I want to hear what you guys think. What's the biggest change in these patch notes that stood out for you? Drop it in the comments below. There are a ton of other changes, additions, and bug fixes that dropped for the new Riven Tides update, so I'll link the full patch notes in the description below if you guys are curious about the rest. And if this video helped break down the patch notes, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Arcraiders content, and I'll catch you guys in the next raid. Peace out.